These are the top 5 things to do in the city of Cincinnati as a local.
That's right. I mean, Cincinnati is consistently ranked as the top city in the state of Ohio.
Sure is.
And to spend an afternoon here, these are kind of the things that we'd say, hey, come on in, check out the city. These are 5 things that you're going to do to have an unforgettable day in Cincinnati.
Sure. So we're just fresh off a weekend where we get to figure out what we want to do with the kids, with friends, with family, all that kind of good stuff. So let's start off with number 1, Cincinnati style chili.
That's right. Cheese coney, a 3-way, a
4-way, 5-way.
You know,
this isn't that kind of video. So no, the chili. I mean, 3 ways. I just took my kids this past weekend to Skyline. We have so many great chili spots.
Yes.
Skyline, Blue Ash Chili. Gold Star.
Camp Washington.
Camp Washington.
There's a number of them. Dixie Chili.
Chili,
for those over on the other side of the river as well. And so a lot of great chili parlors. Gold Star. There's always a big competition. Gold Star, Skyline. Skyline is probably the crowd favorite and the one that gets the most recognition around the country. But all the different chili parlors are great. The Price Hill Chili on the west side of town. And really, it's all a similar style of chili. Cincinnati style chili, a little bit of cinnamon in there.
Maybe some chocolate.
Maybe some chocolate is what we hear.
About this stuff.
But yes, we put chili on noodles.
So what is it? It's a bed of noodles,
chili,
cheese, maybe some beans, onions.
Beans or onions, depending, So 3-way, right, is just chili, cheese on top of noodles.
Yep.
And then you get to the 4-way, and that is
adding
some beans or adding onions, or you go 5-way, both beans and onions on top. And then obviously your cheese conies as well. So
you know what my favorite thing is? They just added a Skyline in the airport. So if you fly into CVG, you walk on out, Terminal B, boom.
That's right.
You get that Skyline for breakfast. It's the thing, guys. Yeah.
The wild thing is, I know when our family goes on vacation, we get home from the airport, we're coming home. Normally, if we want something quick on the way home,
boom,
we stop at Skyline.
It's
So
such a good spot.
So obviously a lot of great different chili parlors, but if you're visiting Cincinnati, checking it out, you got to stop, get a cheese coney, a 3-way, 4-way, and visit one of the many great chili parlors that we have here in Cincinnati.
I don't think we go a week without having some Skyline.
Yeah, that's
our family.
Probably why I'm shaped like a potato.
You can get chili on potatoes as well.
That's right. That's right.
So let's lead into number 2. What do you think?
Well, if you want to wash that chili down, you got to go to one of the awesome breweries here in Cincinnati. There are so many. You have such a great brewing history and heritage
that
here.
German heritage of brewing.
Absolutely.
Breweries.
So obviously with the renaissance of craft beer, I think there's breweries throughout the country, but the beer scene here is on a whole nother level. So one time Cincinnati was known as the beer capital of the world, and it consistently ranks as one of the top 10 beer cities, right, in the country, for people who love craft beer. So you got to check out one of the many, many, many great. There are so many to list, so we can't list them all. But let's maybe hit on some of our favorites.
Sure.
To not only have a great beer, but also has a really cool environment.
Absolutely.
So I'll kind of start off with right down in OTR is Rheingeist, and Rheingeist has won a lot of national awards.
Big time.
Cool building and setup over there. It's kind of like a big old warehouse, industrial feel. Actually, where the old Christian Moorline plant was, which is kind of cool going back to that heritage. So when Rheingeist started out, and they have a lot of popular beers and just a really cool setup to hang out over there.
I have 2 favorites. I love 50 West just because the beer, first off, Doom Pedal is one of my favorite beers. Plus they have the sand, they have the beach volleyball courts, the kids can go play if you go over there. Great burgers, great food.
Yeah.
And then number 2 would actually be kind of the pterodactyl over at Little Miami Brewery, which is in Milford.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
I love Little Miami.
It's a good spot.
Brewing over in Milford. So that's a good one.
And the little unique fact too is like underground and over the Rhine too, they have those old cellars where they actually dug out. It can be 40 feet under the sidewalk, under the streets, where they used to actually house the beer back in the 1800s.
Yeah, you can go
really
on
neat.
Some of the brewery tours in Cincinnati actually highlight that brewing heritage and all of that that's available as well. Another one that you have to mention is Mad Tree,
Mad Tree,
Oakley. is another great spot. Beer's fantastic, great outdoor spot as well.
Great destination.
And they're expanding. You know, you said 50 West. I mean, they're getting their second location.
Deerfield Township.
You know, up in Deerfield Township, and Mantry is actually going to get their second location up in Blue Ash.
Absolutely true.
As well. So super popular spots. And then if you go on the other side of the river, obviously you have Braxton Brewery over there, awesome brewery. And once again, we are naming just a few of the many that are all throughout Cincinnati. But those are probably the most popular ones, or ones.
Some of our favorites, at least.
Yeah, and some of our favorites.
As the locals, you know.
That's right.
We like to drink a lot of beer.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. Yeah.
So let's head into another great thing to do. Number 3 would be to check out the sports scene in Cincinnati.
It is huge. We know you're a big UC fan, obviously the Bearcats.
Yes.
You know, and of course we have the Bengals, we have the Reds. Those are pretty obvious. But you know what I'm most excited about? Because we're sitting here, obviously just getting ready to start the Cincinnati Open, which is the tennis tournament.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. One of the best events I think the city puts on. But then you also have the FC Cincinnati, the soccer team.
Yep.
Go watch a match. And you have the festivals beforehand over in Washington Park. I mean, if it were me and I was choosing on a Saturday night, if I could hit up a Reds game one day, an FC game another day, I came the right time of the year to go to one of these Cincinnati Open matches. We are fortunate. We're
very fortunate. I think that's what people don't realize. The Cincinnati Open is going on right now.
Sure is.
And it is the longest running tennis tournament, you know, to stay in one spot, right?
Yeah.
In one city. It's 125 years they're celebrating this year. All the top players from around the world. So next to the U.S. Open, it's the biggest tennis tournament in Cincinnati. So that's one I think that gets overlooked. Now, obviously, it's only here for 2 weeks or a week and a half.
Sure,
so you got to come at the right time, but that's a big thing. But, you know, if you're coming to visit or check out the city another time, I mean, depending on the season, you know, the Reds, the Bengals, FC, as you said, and then, you know, you've got great college sports as well. You know, University of Cincinnati now in the Big 12 between football and basketball. And I hate to say it, but I will admit it just because I am such a big Bearcat fan. But Xavier in the Big East as well for basketball, so catching a game there. So certainly if you're into sports, catching one of those events while you're here is something that I highly recommend. But there's so much to do, not just going to the game, you know. So for example, with the Reds, there's a Reds museum you can visit ahead of time, and just a lot to do around the ballpark. To the Friday night fireworks, where they'll have concerts and things like that after the game.
Absolutely. So big names come for after those games. Thomas Rhett they're having last year. I think they had Zach Brown. They have some really big names on these. So it's like you said, before and after. And then tying it back to one of our first ones is you have the Skyline Crosstown Shootout. So Skyline is the sponsor of the Crosstown Shootout, which is actually Xavier versus UC, one of the biggest basketball games in the city of Cincinnati and maybe in the country.
Yep, absolutely. Big rivalry. I think one thing that not everybody understands about Cincinnati as well is the parks in Cincinnati. And in fact, out of the top 100 largest cities in the country, Cincinnati is consistently ranked in the top 10 with their park system. There's so much to do. Now, you may be into checking out some awesome skyline views, right? And that's actually how Skyline is their name, the awesome Cincinnati skyline, right? Part of their logo. But a lot of skyline views from different parks in Cincinnati. So everything from like Devou Park in northern Kentucky, looking into
Alt Park, of course, Eden Park.
Yeah,
we have so many, and we were just getting off that hiking event that we just did, and those were the best places to train. You just go over there and you hike Alt Park for hours. You can just get lost in the hills, and then you have obviously the trails that connect Wasson Way, connecting from one park to the next. We are just so fortunate. I think we take it for granted. Cincinnatians don't realize just how great we have it, and we have dozens and dozens of opportunities to just enjoy the outdoors. Emily was just telling us about getting married in the parks. We've been into a numerous amount of weddings in the parks that are absolutely gorgeous backdrops. Yeah. So we are just really fortunate, and we encourage you, if you're here, come check them out.
Or even just like a day, like Smell Riverfront Park. It was all redone. I mean, the trails, kind of the pathway all along the front. You've got the fountains and everything, and the kids can play in. Washington Park, right in the heart of the city.
Absolutely.
There's just so much to do. And there's also a lot of events that are consistently planned at a lot of these parks as well. So there's always something fun, exciting going on. So if one of the things I just don't feel that folks not from Cincinnati understand is how awesome our parks really, really are. Cincinnati has a lot of pride in holding on to that top 10 ranking for a ton of years.
Absolutely. One of my favorite stories too is a little bit when they redid Washington Park, because this was going back almost a decade ago, is they had to excavate everything in Washington Park. They put the parking garage in there, but during the excavation, they actually found they actually had hit cemeteries. They didn't even realize they were there. So the city has invested so much money to make these fantastic areas, but it was through a ton of investment in there.
Yeah.
And just really cool, rich heritage that comes with that. All right, and number 5, unless you're a Cincinnati native, you may not know about this unless you're Googling and really jumping in, but Findlay Market is one of our most treasured spots in all of City Cincinnati. It is an indoor food hall with some outdoor areas as well, but it's been running for quite a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is Ohio's oldest continuously run public market. Built in 1855 is when it started, and it has over 50 merchants, selling everything from spices, seafood, poultry, meats, all these different specialty shops, as well as like a lot of these like pop-up restaurants get their start there. So some of the most popular restaurants in Cincinnati actually got their start at Findlay Market.
Yeah.
So you think of like Taste of Belgium, that's all throughout. They started selling their Belgium waffles at Findlay Market. Eli's Barbecue is another like unbelievable barbecue spot. Got its start at Findlay Market, right? So just a really, really cool open market.
Yeah.
And with all these different retailers there, I know for me, if I'm having a special event and I love to smoke meats and things like that, I'm not just gonna go anywhere to get that cut of meat. I'm gonna go down to Findlay Market, and I'll spend so much time down there and start buying a bunch of stuff.
Time and money, all that good stuff.
But it is just such an awesome experience. And the setting is really cool because, like I said, it was built in 1855. The surrounding neighborhood in OTR and the architecture around there, it's just a really cool spot. And a lot of times you'll see when celebrities come visit Cincinnati, they stop in, check out Findlay Market. It's really a cool spot to check out. And going back to that beer heritage, you can grab yourself a draft beer and explore the market.
That's what the celebrities seem to do. They go to Skyline, they get a beer, and then they go to Findlay Market.
That's right.
Maybe not in that order, but that's exactly what they do. Maybe we're celebrities. That's how it goes. Yeah.
I know we said 5, right?
It was hard not to go with that.
It's hard.
More.
So
6 doesn't sound as good either.
6 doesn't sound as good for the video. Yeah. So we're going to go 5 plus a bonus. And what is that bonus, Mike?
Music venues.
Absolutely.
Music venues. We are both big music fans, and over the past 5 years, we've really taken a huge leap ahead with our music venues. We have, 3 or 4 new ones. We have another new one that's coming over in Riverbend as well. It's exciting because we have the Megacorp that's over in Northern Kentucky. We now have the Icon, Andrew Brady Icon, which has an indoor and an outdoor, as does Megacorp.
Connected to Smale Park, which we talked about before.
Right downtown. And then we have cool little eclectic spots that have been around forever, like Bogart's. Actually one of my favorite because it's small, intimate, just awesome.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the massive new development that's happening where Coney Island used to be, which is going to be, I believe it's the Symphony Orchestra that's building that out, and they're going to have a brand new, state-of-the-art music venue out there.
Right next to Riverbend. So Riverbend is on the river.
On the river.
Right. Great music venue, been there for a long time. And then now expanding that to where Coney Island was purchased. And it's really going to open up a lot of larger festival type atmospheres, things like that.
It's going to be incredible.
So I think it's going to be really great if you're into live music. And there's just a number of these small little venues throughout the city as well. So you always can catch a great act here in Cincinnati. And I think the music scene here just continues to get a little bit better, especially with all the recent investment coming in.
We are really transforming as a city, when it comes to music itself. But now it's music, sports, chili, Tony's, all the good stuff. We are really, really just.
And I'd lump music venues into the arts. We have a very, very strong arts community with the Cincinnati Ballet,
absolutely,
as well as the symphony, the pops, things like that, and Broadway shows as well. So we can't list everything in the
No,
video, but those would probably be our top 5 or 6. You know, if there's a good concert in time, 5-ish. But you know, got to make sure you hit up the chili. Got to make sure that you check out one of the awesome breweries.
Absolutely.
Hit up a sports game, because no matter what time of year, there's something going on sports-wise in Cincinnati. You know, check out one of our unbelievable parks, as well as Findlay Market, Cincinnati's gem. And hey, if there's a great concert in town, hit that up as well.
So there are so many great things to do here in the city of Cincinnati and in the region, really, in general. We absolutely love it. But if you're considering a move to Cincinnati and you just want to get your start and you want to know where to go, reach out to us. We're the #1 team here in Cincinnati, and we're fortunate to work with folks like you moving in.
Yeah, so be happy to help out. You can always reach out to us at info@oylerhines.com, you know, and leave a comment down below. Let us know if this was helpful. Let us know if there's something that we missed big time.
Sure.
You may be a local watching this going, guys, you whiffed. You missed this. There's so many great things to do, so to narrow it down to 5 or 6 is hard, but certainly would love to help you out on your real estate search. If Cincinnati is on your list, you can always reach out, info@oylerhines.com, and we'll get back to you right away.
Be sure to like and subscribe as well, and we hope we get to talk to you soon.